everybody, it's Valerie from Valerie Wallace Fine Arts in my basement studio in Orono, Maine, 04473, and today we're going to take our paper mache piñata or sculpture. And we're going to do a little painting. So, oh, I still forgot the horns. All right, well, I forgot to put them on there, but I did put them on this guy, and so this is kind of what we're going to do. All right. And I'll just give you a few tips on how to, how to paint it up a little bit. First thing that you have to do, though, is if you want to make a piñata, then you have to have a way to put the candy in, right? So what I do in this case is to make a hole, like a gash in his head, like where you took that hammer and cracked the skull, and then you can poke the candy in there. So you just have to have it big enough to fit whatever you're going to put in there. Like if you're going to put dum-dums in, you don't have to have it too big. If you're going to put Charms Blow Pops in, you need a little bit bigger. So what I'm going to do, don't do this if you're a kid, all right? Or if you're a little bit unsafe with knives, which could be me, which could happen right now. First of all, you're going to need a pretty sturdy knife, okay? I want to pick a spot for it to be maybe towards the front, okay? And what I'll do is I'll just make, I told you it was hard. I don't know if you can see, but maybe about 2 inches, okay? And then I'm probably gonna have, I might be able to cut it with scissors. Yeah, a little bit. And what I usually do is cut it kind of like a diamond shape, because then it's a little bit bigger in the middle, but it's not super big. There we go. Okay, let's get that up there. Maybe this won't. Yeah, there we go. It doesn't need to be smooth either, because you can make it look really rough. Rough, like Tina Turner. Okay. All right, cut that. Maybe I need this. So you can see, I put a few extra coats on here. All right. I can't really, I probably will cut my fingers. Okay. Okay, so it looks kind of like, can you see that? Whoops, I'm turning the wrong way. There we go. Oh, I don't know, that's confusing. Okay, so you have a hole in there, you can put your stuff in. Okay, the first thing that I do is, I'm going to do this real quick, and the problem will be is that you can't really paint the face and do the back. If you know you're going to do it in just a short amount of time, paint the back, and then take your little salad tray, right, and lay it in the tray, and it will stick a little bit, but who cares, because, you're just going to, it'll have, it will maybe have a little mark on there, but who cares if you're going to break it? Doesn't matter. But that way you can do it all in one swoop. I'm not going to, because then I'll be holding it while I show you what I'm doing, and I'll have it all over my hands. Not that that's a big deal, but okay. So if you want to do it all in one, do the back as far as you like. Put it in here, do as much as you can see, and then flip it over and do this part. That way it can dry like that. All right. The first thing I'm going to do. So I have. I just want to show you can just use your basic primary colors: red, yellow, and blue. You want a lot of white, or you could just use black and white, or a lot of times, if I'm going to do it, I use house paint too. This is a great way to use up your old house paint. Okay? And the first thing I'm going to do is I want to put a little bit of kind of a yellowy color in the eyes so that they look a little gunky. Okay? And I want to do that first because I want to make eyeballs and I want to give it a little bit of time to dry. So the thing with the primary colors is that if you take the right combination, because it has a little bit to do with how strong they are. Red's a little stronger than yellow, but if I mix those two together, okay, the yellow and the red, I get an orange. If I want to brown that orange up a little bit, I have to add a little blue. A little blue goes a long way. See that? But see how it starts to overpower it pretty quickly? Okay, so now it's a little more in the brown range, all right? Maybe I'll put a little more yellow in there. Okay. That'll lighten it up, make it a little more goldy, okay? If I want, I'm gonna lighten it because that's too dark for the eyes. So I'm gonna take what I have on my brush, take a little bit of white. I'm not gonna need a lot of paint. I'll put a little bit of that on there, okay? See how it's kind of a yucky, whitish color? That'll be good, okay. So what I'll do is I'll go to where I have the little space between the folded down pieces of paper mache, kind of like that. I'm gonna do it first. Thing with painting, especially with acrylics, is that, maybe I'll just draw a gash on it because I didn't make this eye. Yeah, I'll think about it while I'm doing it. But that's what I would do. I don't know if I was going to make the eye closed up and stitched up. Maybe I will do that. So I'll just wipe this off a little bit. Okay. So it really dries fast that you want to do it in layers. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is this. I'll plop that in the water, and I have some black. Okay, and you know, if you're going to do this and your paper mache is really rough, which it probably will be if you're a little new at it, get a really bushy big brush to use because you're going to need to jam the paint in all the little crevices and it will mess up your new brush, okay? But I'm going to take this squirty bottle that I have from Moe's Original Barbecue, and it has black paint in it, and I'm just going to squirt it right in his mouth, okay? And then I'll take a brush and I'll just do that around. It's just easier than, you know, painting it in there. But can you see it? Already kind of makes his mouth look like, you know, like those scary things in Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Okay. While I have the black on my brush, I have a nice big brush. I want to look, this is not important, but if you wanted to have, show some of more, accentuate the shapes of the face from a distance, then you want to use a little shading and highlighting. Okay, so that's what we'll do, a little bit of that. I can use I've got black on my brush, I've got some dark blue, and what I'll do is, right in these little nooks between your nose and your eye, right in there gets really dark. And we'll get a little dark underneath his eyes because he's going to be, you know, he's going to be tired from, you know, doing his ghoulish deeds. Okay, so we'll go around that. You definitely want the underside of the nose, right? And maybe a little bit of the, this little thing right on your nose there. Okay. There we go, a little of that, little shape there. Probably right around the top of his eyes too. I mean, I didn't make him have eyebrows. You know, we probably figure he could be hairy all over, right? Okay. And then a little bit more here. The blue is good. The blue, something dark though, you need something dark, okay? Maybe even like a gauntness on the cheekbones. Okay, so it's looking kind of like this. So that would be, it's a little hard to see, but probably coming up the jawline, kind of like this. Okay. Ooh, look at that. Maybe bring that down a little bit. All right. Okay. If you're just tuning in and you don't know what this is going on, this is the 4th class in a series of short classes in making a paper mache Monster Piñata. And that's what it's called on Valerie, art classes with Valerie Wallace Fine Arts. Okay, and you can get that on YouTube or you can see them on my Facebook page. While I'm at it, I'm going to give him a dark eyeball. Okay, like I said, this one over here we're going to make into a, actually maybe I'll do the, this, like where it's going to be sewn together like that. Okay, whoops. It's opposite. There we go. Okay, looks like this. Okay, so I want maybe, I don't know what color I really care for him to be, but I want it to not be bright red. I'm actually going to use red as a little bit of blood on there and stuff. Oh, while I'm at it too, maybe I'll put a little dark on the stash. Okay, so the next thing, I've got a little bit of blue and black on my brush. Maybe I want kind of a greenish, brownish color, right? So I can take, probably I'll just add a little more, you know, more red to my yellow. I've got a little blue on my brush. I've got that brownish color going. Maybe a little greener. I'll put a little bit more. You see it? Put a little more blue in there. Okay. The thing is, this is pretty dark. Okay. So what I want to do is take a nice glob of the white, and I'm going to put that in there. And the fun thing about this, it doesn't really matter what colors you use. It doesn't matter. That's a little nothing. So maybe I'll make it a little more greenish. How about that? Ooh. Yellow goes, I mean, the blue goes a long way. So now we're getting a little, there we go. There's a little green. That's a little, that's a sick green. Looks kind of like that one. Okay. So we'll put this on and we'll kind of, you know, touch up around the, if it's still a little wet, they'll blend a little bit. But if they don't, that's okay too. We can always go back and add them. All right. So he looks kind of gruesome. And like yucky green skin. All right. And, you know, so when I smush around in here, that kind of blends in with that dark blue and looks a little softer. And if you find you're getting it the wrong color, just have your cloth handy. Just kind of wipe it off. You don't even really need to rinse. The less water you get it messed around in there with your acrylic paints, the faster it'll dry. Okay, so, and sometimes it's just like kind of wiggly the brush a little bit and see how that kind of blends that color. Okay. I'll get a little lighter around this gash because I want the red to show up. So I'm going to make it a little greener up there. Green and red are opposites. That's why they look so great together, because they can't really compete. They both are just super awesome, and then they hold the ground. Where analogous colors like orange, red, yellow, they all kind of blend together. All right, so I want to get his, they have kind of a go-together quality, and you can, it's hard to, one of them doesn't necessarily overpower the other one. All right, okay. So I want a little bit lighter on his eyelid. How's that looking? You see? Kind of like that. All right. Oh yeah, and over here, same deal. Just paint right up to that little thing there. In here. Okay. All right. Blend that in. Let me get a little more on the bottom. Okay. It does not have to, if you're going to crack this open, you know, don't spend forever on it, because that's no fun, because you're just going to break it anyway. But it's nice to have it look like something. So the first class kind of sets up putting the paper mache on a balloon or a box. And then the second one kind of shows you how to make a cage so that you can, it won't, it'll hold together when you start hitting it. Because that's sort of, you know, it's important issue to take care of before you spend a lot of time making a piñata. Because if you put a lot of candy or other good things in your piñata, it gets pretty heavy. So you need to have a good way for it to just even hold on the string so the string doesn't pull right off the top of the thing. All right, okay, so I need a little bit more eyelid down here on the bottom. Oh, this one. Right in here. Like that. Okay, so the other thing I want to do is to take, so I've got that, so now I want to take a bushy, smaller brush and highlight a little bit. So that would be kind of like going down the middle of the nose, kind of blend that on there a little bit so that nose wants to stand out. You see it? All right, kind of like that. If I get too much, I could just go back with a grayer color and add that back on there. That's all right though. I'm gonna have that nose stand right out there, go right up his head. Maybe a little bit here on the forehead. Okay. And maybe a little bit here on this eyeball. All right, like that. And then maybe a little on this eyelid too. Make that stand out just a little bit. All right, there's that. Maybe I'm gonna give him a little, oh, I don't know, kind of a little gross pink lips. And, you know, maybe he has a bigger lip, like kind of on one side. Not much over here. All right. But that'll make the black show up a little bit if I get a little lighter on the outside. How's that look? You see it? It's pretty gruesome. All right. Let me see. Yeah, that's okay. All right. So that's more or less what I'm going to do. With his eye, if I take it and make it a little bit, say a little bit lighter, I might be able to, that's some pretty blue eyes. Let's make that a little yuckier. I'll use a little orange here. Okay. A brownish eye is maybe better. All right. And then something kind of gross, right? That's a pretty gross eye, but I'll give him a little bit of a pupil. If you can use black, maybe I'll get some black out. You know, and put that. This is one of my peeves. Don't make a ball in the middle of his eye, because that, well, I mean, unless, I guess in this case it might work, but I'm going to make it bigger like this. Okay? And it never hurts to put a little highlight on there. You can take the back end of your brush with a little bit of white, put a little highlight on there, okay? All right, and then I'm going to take my little tiny one and, oh, I know, yeah, okay. So I've got the black, actually, let me do, okay, so I'll do a little bit more like kind of, I'll just make sure I've got this eye blend out a little bit, okay? Then what I'm going to do actually is I'll rinse that brush, and I have, you know, some nice red, okay? So what I'll do with the red, I'll get a nice glob, even though I have my little brush, and I'll run that right along. Can you see it? Let me see if I can take it forward. You see it? And I'm just going to dribble that all over the gash in his head. All right? Kind of a loose, you know, sort of hold the end of your brush and kind of roll it around in your fingers, and it'll have that kind of, I don't know, bloody, you know, we can even have it dribble down over his eyes. How's that look? Yeah, okay. And then I'm going to have a little bit right along this crease in his eye, maybe. And then a little, he's going to have bloody corners of his eyes, kind of. This is kind of orange. Let me see. So, you know, like kind of red rimmed. Right on there. All right. How's that? That's kind of gross, right? Oh, there's one eye. I keep turning it the wrong way. There we go. It's kind of like that. Also, it's really sticking out of there. That, there's like a tumor behind that eye. Oh yeah, and then a little bit of black. And you go to this, and what you do is make some lines. Make them big enough. You know, whoever sewed this monster's eye shut is probably not a delicate seamstress, right? And make little crisscrosses on there, or you could just make just little lines, right? All right. Okay. All right, that's more or less good enough, right? And then you let it dry. And the thing you want to do is, okay, so there's that guy. Here's another version. Can you see him? Yeah, you can see him. All right, okay. You want to have some spray, some shiny spray, okay? And this is Rust-Oleum. This is Krylon, or you can buy the fixative that you can get at the art store too. Anything you want, but just make sure it's gloss, okay? Because, you know, you don't want it flat. And it will make all your colors seem brighter. This is the most important thing, okay? Spray it before you put the candy in, okay? Spray it before you put the candy in. Make sure it's dry. Don't get something that's really poisonous. These work really pretty well because I put a whole bunch of candy in one time for my kid's birthday, and particularly like those pixie sticks. And the spray went through the paper and the paper mache and into the candy, and all the candy tasted like poison. And you don't want that. So make sure you spray it, give it time to really breathe and dry and everything before you go ahead and put the candy in. Okay? When you go to, you might want a bandana to tie, but that's, people cheat. And it also takes time to, between every person to, like, you know, tie it on there. I don't know if I have one. So what works really well is a little mask. You know, you can buy them for $1 at the party store, and then put some tape over the eyes. So all you have to do is just, you know, I mean, whether or not you want everybody to have their own mask, that's okay. But yeah, maybe I'm gonna have to do that. Okay, so but that works great. That's a perfect blindfold. You can just take it on and off really easily. A wooden bat is probably a little hard to go with unless it's too heavy for a little kid, and but like a broom handle, that works pretty well. If you want to make it last, have a blindfold on and knock it around and give people a couple of hits. After a while, you may find that you just have to hit it and get the candy out because people are losing their mind. Okay? So that's it. So you have 4 classes. Valerie Wallace Fine Arts, and it's art lessons. There's a whole bunch of drawing classes on there that I've done as well, like 84 drawing classes. And so that's, you know, that's the deal. So here we go. Here's some ideas on painting. I would love to see it. If anybody out there is doing a little bit of paper mache, send me a picture. That would be great. Okay, thanks so much. Have a great Saturday.